Welcome to Creators Blueprint.
Welcome to Creators Blueprint, where we talk about unnecessary stuff and design. I am your host, Dennis, and I'm here joined by Oscar Lima Design. How are you today, sir?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm doing great. How's your day? How's your week?
Day's awesome. You know, a lot of rain. Rainy week, but we're still going strong, still pedaling, and
Still hustling.
still hustling.
How's my week? Oh, my week was great, bro. You won't believe what happened yesterday. No, I'm saying nothing happened to me this past week, but we're back, we're here, and we're gonna do another episode of Creators Blueprint, and we're gonna talk about a lot of unnecessary stuff in this episode. One of them being
Kanye West.
Are we gonna talk about Kanye West?
Real quick,
Kanye West?
because you said unnecessary stuff, and like that's kind of this topic right here is very unnecessary. So recently, Kanye West, actually not, well, I think it was like 3 days ago, he redropped like 30 of his shoes in one day. So every hour was a new drop.
And you restocked them?
He basically restocked them. Like some restocked with 300 pairs, others stocked with 1,000 pairs, others stocked with 200, others stocked with 100. But every single, like most shoes dating back to his kind of like Yeezy boot type thing, where it's like a combat boot.
Yeah.
Those were all re-released in like their old, like, original colorways, like the first colorways that they were released in. So that was a surprise release, and a lot of people were able to snag, if that's the word, or like were able to buy something and like try to reflip it, as that market is very, is all about flipping. And yeah, it's surprising. Like he didn't even announce it or anything. It was just a timer or something that they put on their.
Wait, it was a random day they dropped?
Yeah, a random day, and the only thing that people saw was when they went to Kanye's website. It was just a timer, basically a countdown.
Really?
Yeah, and then people were speculating what it could be,
And people didn't. So nothing was anticipated.
Nothing was anticipated. People were thinking, oh, this is gonna be like, maybe he's dropping the basketball shoe that he was working on. There's like a basketball shoe that has has some type of reflective like counter on it and stuff like that. Maybe that was gonna drop, but obviously that wasn't what dropped. It was just 35 of the shoes that already were released, just being re-released.
Now, when you say 35 shoes, this is like,
okay, so
35 pairs of shoes, or like let's say 10 collections with different colorways.
I'm gonna say probably 5 collections, or max 7 collections, but all of them have different colorways. But it adds up to like
35
like 30
different
versions of a shoe. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep, and that was an unnecessary take.
You know what's another unnecessary take?
What?
This intro. I don't like this intro. I created this intro. Okay, so a backstory. I used to make music. Not music, but I used to produce music. And I don't play no instruments, but I know how to use like Pro Tools and FL Studio and all that. And when we took on this project, I was like, don't worry about it, guys. I could mix the vocals and do the intro. So it took me a while to figure out how to do the vocals, because I'm using Logic instead of Pro Tools, and we have like a whole different setup. But that's beside the point. We got better quality now, and I also took on the responsibility to do the intro. How do you feel about the intro?
You're talking about the
Welcome to Creators Blueprint. That's Oscar's voice.
Yeah, that's my robotic voice. I think the intro was good when we first started. It might need to be revamped. We might need a V2 version, like Kanye does his shoes. We need a V2. So I think it's time for an update. Like, I don't know. We need something that it's like, I just feel like it's very dull in a way.
What would you want? Like a slow, mellow,
like Drake and Josh type shit.
What?
Yeah, like where it's like,
I found a way.
But it has to be very concise, so not that long. Obviously, probably 10 seconds, 15 seconds long.
You really want to drink?
Okay, not like that, but like you. It makes you. That intro makes you smile. I want something that makes people smile.
Me singing.
Anyways, okay.
Yeah, but like I need to redo the intro because like I am not feeling. I think by the we drop every Tuesday, so possibly if I could get it done beforehand. I don't know. It depends how busy I am because I'm a very busy man. You know, my schedule is like cramped up. I have meetings with CEOs and no, I'm gonna try to redo it by the end of this week so we could keep on revamping our podcast and making it feel new and all that. But yeah, any more unnecessary stuff?
Um. Well, everything you talked about was pretty unnecessary.
You know what else is unnecessary?
What?
I have nothing else.
Nah. I was gonna try to kind of go maybe over a few of the IG posts that we went over, that we
That we
selected.
posted? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we don't have Q&A questions. I guess we just didn't ask.
Could you guys please give us like topics and questions?
Yeah, because like I feel like I'm just relating it to kind of like the hip hop of the world and like let's say the entertainment world and of stuff. Like you see how they have every single day there's like a new thing to talk about, whether it's like I mean maybe these things are unnecessary to talk about, but it's like, oh, this rapper does this or this person is going through this situation, like blah blah blah. But like there's a topic to talk about. I feel like for design, there's
We're
kind of
stale.
there's not like a media
We're
outlet where it's like,
stale.
oh my god, Johnny Ive breaks his iPhone and gets an Android and says like, you know, like something like that, so that we can like talk about.
Yeah, where
Or-
there's no beefs, like Mark Zuckerberg having beef with like I don't know, Elon Musk.
Yeah, and like I wish there was something where it was easier to come up with topics, but for now we kind of are either talking about personal experiences or like looking at topics right now and just talking about
and we're
them.
mostly talking about like industrial design stuff, and like the whole point of this podcast was to like have people come up and talk about their medium and their passion and the profession and all that.
I
But
think-
like we're just milking out the hell out of industrial design at this point. Like I want to learn about UX and graphic design and what type of graphic design do you do or yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so we got to kind of like figure out how we're going to get people on here, because at the moment, I think it's pretty hard to kind of get people in person to get to a set location. So we're going to have to figure out how to do kind of like a Skype type thing and try to implement it nicely into this podcast. I don't know how the audio is going to work, but that has to be the next step so that we can start at least having some type of, let's say, 20-minute, 30-minute interview while we podcast, like in the middle of the podcast, or even be the whole podcast as a whole.
Year.
So yeah, that's that.
And I just want to have people up here and interview them, but it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to grab people, and yeah, I don't know. What's up next, Oscar boy?
Did you want to kind of talk about the post or not?
Yeah, we can talk about the posts.
All right, so we'll talk, like, I guess first we'll go over Jeremy A. Higgins. I think that's his name, right?
Higgins.
A. Higgins. Oh, Jeremy Higgins. A is probably his middle name. What did you like about this post that you reposted it? Because you were the one that selected this.
Well, if you guys want to go to check out the post, just go to our Instagram at Creators Blueprint, and yeah, you're just gonna scroll down and see the recent post that we did. Well, to start it off, it's headphones, like a post of different ideation in the headsets. For the first picture, it has a bunch of ideation, and you could just see the thought process that Jeremy went through. Yeah, and I found that interesting that he's like very loose with his sketches. Uh, yeah, and yeah, and you could like see how he started off with just just doodling and ended up with his final design. But we that's the most we get out of the creative process, because from there it just jumps into key shot renderings, and the key shot renderings is very sleek. You could see it's a very sleek design. You see the close ups to the detail. I wish you could post it up on the
I could post it.
yeah.
It'll be there on the video.
Yeah, it's like you could tell that he understands how to use Keyshot very well. And if you look at it, I believe it's a button on the wireless headset. You see like a little light glow indicating that it might be a light or it's a nice reflection.
Cool.
I think it's a nice reflection. It's a very sleek, minimal design. And then he has multiple photos that showcases different variations of colorways, and it ranges from like a very how is it, muted colors,
Very muted colors.
like a muted pink, yellow, green, and then a black and a white. Yeah, it's a very dope post.
Um,
And what I'm noticing, do you think muted colors is like not that fashionable, or you think it's still sticking
So-
around?
I think that for people that want to kind of have some type that don't want to be loud, basically. Like, there's people that buy their shoes and like it to be like Volt, like it to be vibrant red, like it to be yellow and pink. Like those type of people, you're either a person that likes that type of colorway or likes the muted colorways. And what was your question?
Do you think muted colors is like leaving the trend?
I don't think it's leaving the trend. No, I think it's like it's because it's two different types of people, and I feel like the more older you are, and like you want to look somewhat sophisticated, I feel you tend to wear like muted colors, so you like wear like, I don't know, like all those colors you said before, like an olive, a light brown, maybe a light pink and stuff like that. So I don't think it's leaving a trend, and I think colors in the trend world, like there's like always the main colors that are gonna sell. You know what I mean? You got your navies, you got your blacks, you got your gray charcoal, and you got your
They're muted green.
muted green, and that's like
Oh,
maybe that's a maybe. But if
Aqua is trending like crazy right now. In my opinion.
aqua, you got your fuchsia color. You
What's
have
fuchsia?
it's like red purple mixed together, but more red.
Never seen it in my life.
Long story short, there's like their base colorways. Every year you're gonna tackle them. It's not like these muted colors. These are like, I feel like specialty colorways. So like if a brand is gonna come out with something, they're gonna always pick the top selling colors. So like, let's say the navy or whatever. And then if they want to do some risky stuff, they'll go for like, let's say, those muted colorways. So yeah, it's never.
You know, something
down.
interesting that you said was the motions with colors. I was looking at creating a logo, and what struck back to me was how we learned in college that every color has an emotion, and companies are aware what how to brand themselves with the color, because each color has a certain type of, it's that picture right there.
Yeah.
Like, which one is red? Red is excitement, orange is optimism. What's yellow?
Yellow is confidence. Green is reassurance. Blue is intelligence. Purple is creativity.
Yeah, so like when I was trying to create this logo, I was looking at the chart and looking at many of the brands that use different colors, and they basically brand themselves around it. Like for it's this photo right here. It's pretty cool.
So like in a sense, all like yellow companies consist of like Nikon, UPS, Best Buy, AOL, McDonald's, and that's like in the optimism color
Yeah, spectrum.
spectrum. And then you got we won't go over each one, but like the friendly ones, which is the orange colorway. You got your Nickelodeon, your Fanta, your Golf, your Firefox, Payless, Hooters, and then what?
And then look at the green one.
And then for green you have it's the peaceful emotion. It's John Deere. You got Animal Planet, Tropicana, Monster,
Seems
and
like
Starbucks. Because Starbucks. That has to be one that is like it's a good one.
and it feels like that branches off to another trend. The green colorway makes it feel peaceful.
Green, eco-friendly.
Eco-friendly. Oh my god. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I feel that having a color into your work spools like an emotion to the consumer. And if you see like eco-friendly green, it kind of, I don't know, I'm just talking bullshit right now. Long story short, yeah, it's pretty interesting that every color has an emotion, and the psychology is deeper than just creating a logo. Yeah, you would have to you know think deeper than how you want to tackle the consumer.
Um,
Yeah, want to go to the next post, or you want to talk
Yeah.
about that post?
I was gonna try to lead into your topic with
Okay.
that last post. The next one that we'll be talking about is I actually picked this one. It's by his name is Petros Afsar. Sorry if I butchered it. But he is a very talented. It looks like he is a graphic designer. Um, yeah, basically. So what I picked was he was commissioned to design for Nike. They wanted him to design something that showcased their innovation, their sport, and their versatility, all in, I guess, their logo. Or, I guess, as concise as possible, they wanted him to do that. And what he did was, he basically took the Nike swoosh and put like basketballs, like a lot of sport related things in there. So you can see in there like tennis rackets, baseballs, basketballs, football. Like there's just a lot of detailing inside the swoosh, and then you have like then he does that same type of um, design process into the Nike logo where it says like Nike. So he basically takes the inside of each letter and does the same thing. He puts banners in them. He puts the Nike swoosh. He puts like a design lab inside, like basically a little design lab type drawing inside of there. Skateboard, like there's just so much detailing in it, and like it's cool that in such a simple way he was able to express and like do everything that they told him to do, like showcase their innovation, showcase their sports, showcase their versatility, and he did that all through just using what they had already, but basically showing something. What does it call it? Kind of like hidden in plain sight, but you see like everything there. So I picked it because yeah, it was just like awesome how he was able to incorporate all that stuff into like just it looks very like straightforward, but there's so much to it if you like dig deep.
It's like the picture itself is it's simple, but yeah, you look into it and it gets much more complicated with details inside the lettering.
Petro, like he has a crazy catalog. Like he's designed for like Nike, Disney, Adidas,
Really?
and
Like
many more.
like with the actual company or just
Like he's done work for them. Like he's worked with them.
wowzers.
His page is just full of different logos. I feel like in graphic design, it could be seen as super simple, but there's so much meaning behind like their design and everything. And why, like there's so much hidden stuff in like a graphic design logo and stuff like that. But it's very cool how much thought comes into it, and definitely go visit his page, because I feel like if I wanted to learn
take a look
more,
at it.
I'd definitely go and try to analyze his stuff and try to redo it or like.
That's a very
you know.
unique style because all he would create, like I'm looking at this bird that he has, and from far away, it's obviously a bird, but when you get closer, it has like a DJ turntable set with like lettering and the word J coming down from the tail, and so many like semicircles that create it. It's very abstract. It's very abstract. Kudos to him that he worked for Nike and
Yeah, he's
Disney and all that.
very-
He's a very talented guy. You see, if I wish we could just have him here or like through a Skype interview, and we could just talk to him and talk about his work and his resume and like what are his hobbies and how he got to design.
and that could happen. We just have to kind of
Please.
we have to kind of be ready for that type of thing too.
Yeah, we need to set
try to
up.
make sure everything goes perfect. So we have to kind of practice that. And next post, you picked this one,
This was from like 3 weeks ago.
but no, it's not.
Yeah, it's from last week. So this post was from Gannett Goldstein. Damn, I just spit all over the screen. Gannett Goldstein. She basically combined two mediums, which was fashion design and 3D printing. I did see the 3D printing implemented in fashion before by the Adidas. I don't remember the shoe, but it was the 3D printed sole. If you know what it's called.
You're talking about Adidas out there outsole?
Their outsole, yeah.
Futurecraft or something?
I don't remember.
It has like, it's coming out of like a bunch of
Yes.
solution, or 3D, I guess.
Yeah,
solution or whatever.
Yeah, that's the first time I've seen fashion and 3D printed and fashion combined, and not until like recently where I was just browsing around Instagram and I came through Gannett Goldstein's Instagram page, and I was blown away by her
Blown away.
By her project that she's basically showcasing in various I think shows or exhibitions, but it's mainly she's 3D printing a heel.
Which leads into our next topic,
About 3D printing.
3D printing.
So how do you feel about 3D printing?
I think that since we are eventually going to go into trying to be eco-friendly, we would have to try to implement that into our manufacturing practices, because it probably will be more expensive, but it's better for the world. So,
How?
because they use recycled bioplastic materials to make their products, right?
The thing is,
I don't know.
a lot of places don't use biodegradable or eco-friendly plastics, and the plastics that are eco-friendly and biodegradable cost more than the regular plastics, and the regular plastics are more sustainable. So, what would you rather use? This goes back to the conversation last week. It's either not shitty material, eco-friendly, not sustainable, or not eco-friendly and sustainable. But the eco-friendly one, knowing that's not as sustainable, costs more because it's eco-friendly.
Does it last, or not as much as the other?
Not as much as the
So like
not
you said,
eco-friendly.
yeah. What was your question? What would I pick?
I mean, not what would you pick, but like it wasn't really much of a question, but
It's just like how it is. Yeah.
it's how it is, and I don't think anytime soon manufacturing is gonna go into 3D printing. Well, no, because at the end of the day, you would have to clean up the 3D print, and you need people to do that.
yeah.
No, it's gonna stay. I think it's gonna stay the way it is. I feel like
some practices, not like all of it. I'm saying like parts of the parts of the manufacturing process can have 3D printing implemented in them. Because a little small thing can help, you know? It's the little things, you know? You know?
maybe. I feel like if it gets to the point where the 3D print is very fine, where you don't have to like sand them down or do anything with it. They can use they could replace people. No, you don't even need. I think it's not that useful to do 3D printing to manufacture, honestly, because blow molding is so much quicker and cheaper. You just have to do the mold, which is like, let's say $2,000, and then just pump them out. So back to this Janet Goldstein that 3D printed the heel. I found a post where it states what she technically did with her project that she's showcasing. So according to this post, Gannett is creating fashion accessories that combines technology of 3D printing and a traditional way of weaving. It'll be interesting to have her on the podcast and learn how weaving and 3D printing coincide, you know? The process itself began to develop on a printer called Prusa i3 MK3. I don't know, never heard of it. During her visit to the lab, she printed 5 pairs of shoes now, which are now traveling on in London. I don't know. This is translated, so like the words are mixed around. Last month we are going to welcome the fashion designer Gannett in the lab. Gannett uses a traditional. Oh, not to repeat it again. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. Creating mixing different ways. Not even plastic. They could like apparently mix weaves into it. How dope is that? You could 3D print clothing.
You know you could 3D print human hearts too?
No way.
Of course, brother.
How?
I don't know. I'm seeing this article at sciencedaily.com. It says like a team of researchers from Carnegie Mellon University published a paper detailing a new technique allowing anyone to 3D bioprint tissue scaffolds out of collagens. It's just, you guys know what we're talking about. A major structural protein in the human body. So basically, you can use any type of thing to 3D print, any type of medium.
That's dope.
But no, you're the expert in this. What are you talking about?
I'm trying to act surprised for the viewers.
Well, just be like, yes, you can. Okay.
Yes.
I didn't know that. Because basically they're using what we have already in ourselves, to make the human heart, which means it's gonna be.
Yeah, it's gonna be pumping.
Yeah. No, not that it's gonna be pumping, but it's just gonna be. It's not gonna be made out of plastics, It's gonna be made out of what we already have in our body.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna basically fit in perfectly. It says this first of its kind method brings the field of tissue engineering one step closer to being able to 3D print a full-sized adult human heart. So I guess they're just coming
I'm
up
surprised
with
that
these initial things.
I'm pretty sure that I've read about this a while ago, where they were 3D printing like bones and stuff like that, and now since they figured out how to 3D print like limbs, muscles, tendons, and all that good stuff. They were trying to figure out how to bring sense into it, like the nerving system and all that. And yeah, that's pretty interesting that we would be able to do that. And also, other than 3D printing tissue and muscle and all that, they were trying to see if they could 3D print, aluminum arms and robotic arms. Not only that will be like an organic arm, but like that a robotic arm that you could attach to like any missing body limbs or parts, anything. That's very interesting. At one point, we're gonna become half robots. Like, bro, my lung is missing. Let me 3D print a lung real quick. You download a 3D CAD file into your home owned 3D printer, size of a fridge, and in 2 hours a new lung comes out. You bring a doctor to your house, and boom, they replace your lung.
Yo, like what is the craze with 3D printing then? If it's like what is the craze with it? Is it just because anyone could do it from their home?
Yes, you could basically do anything. literally anything, any shape. People could 3D print I don't know, guns, a shell to a
Whoa, whoa,
speaker.
whoa, whoa! Relax, brother.
You know, it's crazy. Remember a few years ago that somebody uploaded a CAD file that you could 3D print a gun, and it shows you how to like assemble it and all that.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
And a law was passed that you are not able to do it.
You're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, it was a terrible mistake.
That's insane. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Are you being sarcastic? But
But no, I didn't know about that. That's crazy.
I'm surprised.
I am surprised.
But yeah, this guy was charging like $5 for this CAD file, and he ended up making like $200,000. Don't quote me on that, but it was something around
Please
that
don't quote
range.
him.
Also, they were also testing how to 3D print meats, cause this is kind of going into like the conspiracy side of like food, but apparently like there's a thing going around that meats cause cancer. So
Okay.
so there was there was like they were like testing out like different kinds of meats, and they finally learned how to grow a meat through some chemicals or some materials, and they're trying to make it edible so it could be healthier than meat itself. How crazy would it be that we get to the point where we don't kill animals for food? We just 3D print it. Like download a CAD file, and in your home owned 3D printing, you just download your breakfast, or 3D print your breakfast within 15 minutes.
Pretty scary.
That would be pretty dope.
Pretty scary. I saw an article also. I don't know if we want to keep talking about 3D printing. Maybe
Of course,
this could be
brother.
the last topic, subtopic of it. But an architect in Dubai is trying to 3D print a full house.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah.
No,
so-
really?
Yeah. He's trying to 3D print it from concrete. Wait.
There was a
Yeah.
video that I've seen where a person had like a 3D printer the size of like a house. The diameter of the nozzle of the 3D printer was like the size of like it was like a good 5 feet. So it was just spewing out concrete, and it was just
I didn't know
building
you
a
could use
castle.
concrete as like your toner or some shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Your
Not
toner.
but you know what I mean, as the material
Yeah.
for printing. I didn't know that. What else does it say? It says like 3D printing a building. It essentially just uses the same principles as 3D printing a toy, like a small little toy. It's just at a bigger scale. And like I said, they're going to be using concrete as their material selection for their printer instead of plastic. It says the concrete is pumped to a nozzle attached to a robotic arm, rail, or conveyor belt, which squeezes it out in strips to build up the structure one layer at a time. Or made out of multiple components. One more thing, Smart Tech Publishing predicts that the 3D printing construction industry will be worth $40 billion by 2027. Thoughts, concerns?
So you're telling me we have to get into 3D business right now to get a chunk of that change?
Just to get a little bit. Just give us like 2%. 2%.
2%.
Yeah.
That's all I need. 2% of 40 billion.
Yeah, that'll be fine. But yeah, this 3D printing buildings is apparently something that is being spread a lot around in Dubai. So we wouldn't be surprised if it's gonna essentially come over to here, cause like, you know, when you're like the first of anything, like it becomes a thing, you know. So maybe someone here, probably has been done already, but we just are not don't know about it. But it's definitely gonna be a thing in the near future. As you'll see, it's gonna be worth 40 billion by 2027.
I'm just impressed by how many materials you could use to 3D print.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I'm actually surprised.
I'm flabbergasted. You know what else you're trying to experiment with?
What?
Debris from the moon.
Oh yeah, okay. What about that?
So, what are we?
Human beings,
Where do we live?
Earth.
Do you see Earth existing forever?
Of course not, brother.
Yeah, that shit is gonna explode sooner or get eaten by the sun. So, we are destined to become space creatures.
True. Like just materials. Is that what you're trying to say?
What?
What do you mean?
We have to leave Earth and venture off to other planets eventually.
As dust.
As dust?
Yeah.
Why?
Because like everyone's gonna die and then we're gonna float away. That's how I'm guessing we're gonna go away.
No, it's gonna be like Wally. We're all gonna be found in the spaceship,
No
looking
shot.
for another planet.
Anyways.
So there's this program happening, right? Where they want to 3D print. Do you want to build machines that 3D print in planets before we get there? Point of this article, it shows, it says that they're trying to get robots into planets to 3D print buildings that humans could use before we get to the planet itself. And the material is going to be a form of, they're trying to manipulate the dirt or like the asteroid debris and mix it and use that as the concrete to create buildings. I find that kind of interesting that people are actually thinking about stuff that would happen hundreds of years from now with the technology we have right now. Right now, they're trying to test it out on the moon. I don't know how they're gonna manipulate the dust that is apparently made from meteors, and it's called regolith. That's the powdery material that's on the moon. They're trying to manipulate that and test it out first with the moon. So yeah, how do you feel about that? Going into space, 3D printing, having machines 3D print our houses before we get there.
It's cool. I'm surprised.
Nice.
I feel like we could take one more hot take on this 3D printing, as I just read this that those eco-friendly takeout containers that you get at Chipotle?
Yes.
Well, this will surprise you. Apparently, they have found that these contain harmful cancer-linked chemicals. This means that the bowls used at the restaurants like Chipotle and Sweet Green aren't truly compostable, as has been claimed. Instead, they are likely making compost more toxic. I don't know, that's how they wrote it here. Adding to the chemical load of the very soil and water they were supposed to help improve. And they rather than degrade quickly, they contain potentially hazardous ingredients that never break down. Not in 5 years, not in 500 years.
It seems like most of these companies are trying to go green, but they don't have a shit what they're doing. Like, they have no idea what they're doing. Like, they have zero idea what they're building. They just created something that's worse than, some cheap foam. It's pretty upsetting.
Yeah, so the whole take is now like, might as well just stick. I don't know, but like it's just kind of worrisome when you think that, or at least the company thinks, oh, we're gonna do this because this is eco-friendly and all that stuff, but then you come to find out that it was just doing harm to your customers. And you were
Not only the customers, but the environment.
and to the environment when you weren't doing anything.
The eco-friendly trend is a very weird trend because they're all trying to figure it out at the same time, but they have no idea what they're doing.
And it's not a trend.
It's
a responsibility. Like, in a way, it is a responsibility, but it is something that companies are looking at and keeping in mind when they're doing whatever they're doing for their company. They're seeing that everyone is moving towards this route of being eco-friendly, 100% sustainable, um, and obviously, if their competitors are doing it, you're gonna have to do it. Not only it's not a trend in a way, but it is something as you guys unite. Like you just have to follow what everyone is doing in a way.
It's a trend. I feel like it's definitely a trend. It's not a trend for designers, but it's a trend for millennials
But it is also like
because it's getting more recognized since millennials are about like saving the planet and all that, and we do really want to save the planet. So that pushed companies to use the eco-friendly aspect as a forefront to their marketing, and therefore we are out. So let me remember this. Okay, subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. Follow Oscar at Oscar Lima
that comes
design.
secondary. Like you don't have to really.
Listen to us on
Yeah.
Spotify, iTunes. Follow me at Design by Dennis.
Okay. And make sure to use our hashtag, and we are on all audio streaming platforms.
Not on SoundCloud,
Yeah, we're on everything. So just like type us in and you'll find us.
except for SoundCloud.
Yeah.
But yeah, we upload every Tuesday. Yeah, that's about it. Take care, stay going, and know the drugs. Peace.
Unless they're healthy.
Like aspirin.
And Advil.
Yeah, for the headaches.
And allergies pills.
What's allergy pills?
Like when you have allergies, you take like a Zyrtec.
What was it?
Anyways, peace, guys. Thank you for listening.